Welcome to the Lucha Lounge. I'm your host, Steve DeMarco. For all those that do celebrate Thanksgiving, I hope all of you had a very happy Thanksgiving. Can you believe it? We're about a month away from the end of 2016. What a year it's been in more ways than one. But yeah, man, Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving to everyone that celebrates it. Or if you don't, hey, happy Thanksgiving to all of you. This week's pretty special to me, not just because of Thanksgiving, getting to see friends and family, but because I got to celebrate my birthday and had a pretty good day overall on my birthday. So yeah, hence why the title of the show is the title of the show. You know, I appreciate everyone who, whether you view it and have subscribed to my YouTube channel, or you listen to me and you've subscribed to the Offshoots Network, variety of ways, be it iTunes, Google Play, Beyond Pod, which is what I use, Satchel, you know, whatever have you, but hopefully you subscribe to either one, because, hey, there might be some changes on the horizon, which I'll get into shortly. So yeah, you know, celebrating another year on this earth, thankful for it, obviously, you know, giving thanks and whatnot. And I got to get some gifts, so you know, not a bad time for me so far. And looking forward to what the rest of 2016 brings, and the impending holidays, Christmas and New Year's and all that, and just the last month of the year. And again, what a year it's been. But before I get into the main topic, my goals, not so much resolutions, but goals, I guess they could be resolutions, but you know, we'll get into that in a moment. A couple things of business, couple things that really got into my brain, you know, and whatnot. So before I continue, a little business. December 10th, Reality Wrestling proudly brings to you at the World Gym Arena another set of tapings, but more importantly, we bring to you Christmas Chaos 11, a decade in the making, with special guest Rey Mysterio. Now, if you go to realitywrestling.com, you will get all details about the meet and greet and you know, some packages, whether it be getting something signed or a picture with Rey Mysterio, or one with Booker T, or you know, group, or Charmel, or Stevie Ray, or a whole slew. It's, you know, the biggest show of the year for us, at our first Christmas Chaos in our, you know, in our arena, and I know everyone's ecstatic and excited, and there's already some matchups that have been announced, but you can go to realitywrestling.com for more details. You can also, if you go to realitywrestling.com, you know, catch the latest episode that recently aired, which features Aiden Cristiano with La Familia against the returning Tyree Taylor. It was great to see Tyree back in a Reality Wrestling ring. You know, really pulling for that guy, and good matchup between him and Aiden Cristiano. There was also Brian Keith, former television champion. He took on none other than J-E-I-S accent over the A-N. A guy who's been doing some great promo work, and finally we get to see him in the ring against Brian Keith in a pretty solid matchup. You know, Jay-San had a really good showing for himself, and he continues to really impress me with his promo work and whatnot. And then in the main event, it was a non-title match, but it featured Terrell Tempo against our television champion, Rex Andrews, and a very shocking conclusion of that. There's some, you know, I don't want to spoil anything, but there, again, if you go to realitywrestling.com, you'll get to see some of the matchups that have already been announced. I mean, again, biggest match, biggest show of the year for Reality Wrestling, and we hope everyone can come out and check out our show, and you know, gear up for 2017, and I mean, another step in the right direction and whatnot. So a couple things that crossed my mind, or really interested me over the last week. Obviously, NXT Takeover Toronto. What a show overall. NXT delivering once again, whether it was the main with Samoa Joe, you know, getting the title back, defeating Shinsuke Nakamura, Nakamura's first defeat. And I know they're going to have a rematch in a couple of weeks in Japan, I believe. But you know, that, I mean, really it boiled down to that best 2 out of 3 falls match between the Revival and Gargano and Ciampa, and congrats to Gargano and Ciampa for getting the titles from the Revival. Very solid 2 out of 3 falls match. I mean, great psychology, great storytelling from top to bottom. I was really impressed with that matchup and the story that they were telling. And it was great to see Mickie James as well, battling Asuka, and really great to see Mickie in somewhat of a WWE ring. I really enjoyed the show top to bottom, and kudos to everyone, all the men and women that took part in that event. And then the next night, Survivor Series, we had, you know, I mean, solid matchups overall. I mean, the tag match really excelled for me because of the number of people involved in it. I like the storytelling elements. I also like the storytelling elements in the women's matchup, the 5-on-5 women's matchup. You know, interesting that they took Nikki out of that, and the way they took her out and have Natalya take her place and whatnot. And obviously the gentlemen, the 5-on-5, I thought some great storytelling elements there. I mean, man, what a bump that Shane took, you know, going for the, in essence, the Van Terminator and the spear. I thought it was a great spot, and you're hoping, you know, Shane was back on SmackDown, so, you know, hopefully he recovers. But kudos to all the men that were part of that matchup. But really for me, you know, I think for a lot of people, the matchup, at least the outcome of the matchup, was the Goldberg versus Brock match. Now, you know, Goldberg hadn't been in a ring in about 12 years. But yeah, Goldberg and Brock, I think a lot of people were intrigued and curious as to what was going to happen with that matchup. I mean, again, Goldberg hadn't been in a ring in about 12 years, or a WWE ring. The last time these two guys hooked up, I mean, not necessarily a highlight reel matchup. I liked it for what it was, you know, but this was definitely different. And really the talk coming out of Survivor Series was definitely this matchup, and really the shocking conclusion. Really 90 seconds total match time. I mean, the video package was longer, the entrances were longer. You were curious how they were going to do this, and it was real interesting to always, when it comes to these main events or certain matchups, you wonder how the fans are going to react to it. I didn't have a problem with it because it means that Goldberg's probably going to be back for you know, for the foreseeable future. Obviously, he's going to be at the Royal Rumble now. He's an entrant in the Royal Rumble. I'm curious how that's going to turn out. You hear about all the backstage stuff, you know, potential injury for Goldberg and whatnot, but I thought, given what they've done, what they've wanted to do with Goldberg and the story that they were trying to tell, I could have seen them go a different way and having Brock go over on him, but really, what would that have done? I don't think that would have done nearly, would have been the point of conversation that this ending did. You know, I mean, 2 spears, a jackhammer, and we're going home. I mean, that's basically it. I think for the people that are complaining about it or upset about it, I just think, well, what if that was the end of the match? You know, the ending was the same. You just got 10 more minutes of like filler, pretty much, because really you're looking for suplexes, spears, jackhammer. That's pretty much all you're looking for. Maybe an F5 here or there, but I think they made the right call because people are talking about it. People are still talking about it. Now, whether you're upset or not, I mean, I wasn't upset. I was blown away by just how they executed it, and Brock selling, and the fact that he seemed a little timid, seemed a little scared by Goldberg and the aura of Goldberg, and man, they really, you know, you can say what you want, man. Goldberg's gotten some good reactions, especially when he's in the building, and I'm curious to see where they go with him with the Rumble, and where they go moving forward, how long he'll be part of WWE. It's interesting to say the least, and I don't know if they do a third match. You know, I mean, again, he's 2-0 against Goldberg, maybe, I mean, against Brock. Maybe they do a third match. Maybe they give Brock his win back. I know some people are clamoring for that. I don't necessarily know if that's really the way they need to go, but again, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed Survivor Series. I mean, it was long, a lengthy show, but I thought all the matchups were solid. You know, kudos to Brian Kendrick for retaining the Cruiserweight title. I thought that definitely was going to go... I thought they were going to kind of do the switch where the Intercontinental went to Raw and the Cruiserweights, because of 205 Live especially, would go to SmackDown. But, I don't know. I'm fine with it. I'm intrigued where they go with it. I'm intrigued with the 205 Live, what they do with that. But kudos to you know, the Brian Kendrick for retaining, and kudos to Miz for retaining. So overall, I enjoyed it, and congrats to James Ellsworth, man. SmackDown retains, I mean, gets a contract. Ladder match, beats AJ Styles for the 3rd time. I know some people are complaining, but you know, just proof that if you take what you're given and you do it to the best of your ability, and you get a reaction in this day and age, sometimes that's all you need. And you know, he's selling shirts and doing quality work. I mean, he's not supposed to be the greatest wrestler on the face of the planet. The fact that he's lucking out and winning and beating the WWE World Heavyweight Champion at this moment in multiple matches, and now that he's contracted, you just kind of wonder how long it can be sustained. I mean, now that he's going to be a full-time guy, you wonder how that's going to work, and if they continue to utilize him the way they've utilized him, I think it'll be well. I mean, he had a good showing at Survivor Series. I mean, that stuff with Braun was pretty interesting. Again, I really enjoyed the week that was within WWE. I also enjoyed Lucha Underground. Watched the latest. Congrats to Johnny Mundo for becoming a Triple Crown winner and the new Lucha Underground champion. I thought his work against Sexy Star was top notch, and it's interesting to see where they're going to go with that. And it was great to see Paul London back on television, and you know, in a prominent role. I'm interested to see where his group, the Rabbit Tribe, go. And again, it was good to see him on the show, and I really enjoy watching Lucha Underground. Couple of other things before I get into the main topic. I saw Arrival. I actually went to the theaters. My mom came into town for my birthday and the weekend, and that was one of the movies that she had wanted to see. But, you know, for me, it was a toss-up between that and Doctor Strange. She wasn't really keen on going to see Doctor Strange because she's not that familiar with the Marvel Universe and whatnot. But she had seen, I think, the trailer once for Arrival and was kind of curious about it, and I really enjoyed the movie. It was, you know, different, very different, you know, from I guess, if you want to call it an alien invasion movie. It's very interesting how they make our world react to outsiders, or, you know, people from other planets and whatnot. But I really enjoyed it. It was yeah, I really enjoyed it. I liked how it ended, how it came about, the idea. I just liked the concept of the movie, and I really enjoyed the movie. Also, my mom had yet to have seen Stranger Things, and so I rewatched it with her. We actually, I think it took us 2 days to get through all 8 episodes, but we got through them fairly quickly. I mean, and she really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed seeing it again. I'm looking forward to season 2, definitely. So, now, you know, this time of year, getting to the end of it again. One more month till we're in 2017. A little bit over a month till we're in 2017. And so, you know, it's always about that time of year when you reflect. I mean, I reflect usually around the anniversary of the start of my wrestling career. I'll definitely kind of look back and also kind of look forward to where I'm going. And then around my birthday, around New Year's also, but since my birthday's pretty close, I start to look at, okay, how do I want the next year to go? Where do I want to be, you know, at when it's my birthday the next year? Or where do I want to be when we get to the end, or when we get to the beginning of the following year? Where do I want to be? So I don't always do resolutions. I do more like goals. And you know, the last few years I haven't done that many goals. It's just be happy to be alive is usually the case. Try to work on my irritation level, try not to stress out, so on and so forth. Those are definitely part of it. Like, don't stress out as much. I mean, it's tough. You're bombarded with all this negativity and all this noise. Why, everyone stresses out. Day-to-day life, the mundane. And I always try to tell myself, as I always try to tell other people, just enjoy the journey. Enjoy it, because one day you won't have it. So I try not to stress out. That's really one of those things that kind of goes without saying, but it's good to mention it now. I'm going to try to limit the amount of stress or negative stress, or allow stress to affect me in a negative way. I'm going to really try to turn any stress into a positive, whether it fuels me, moves me forward, or helps me, really try to monitor that stuff and try to put a positive spin on it, as opposed to allow it to fester or cause me to panic. I mean, I fight that sometimes, so I'm really trying to keep some positive, a lot of positivity within, and hopefully, exhibit that outwardly. And, that's why my last video or last episode was being thankful, because again, it's about focusing on the positive and trying to flush out the negative as much as possible. I know that's easier said than done at times, but that's what I'm trying to do. And now a couple of fun things. My DVR is pretty full, so I'm going to try to empty it. Hopefully by the end of the year. I've got some time off, so I'm going to try to watch some of the shows that have filled up my DVR. One in particular is Westworld. I haven't even seen episode 1 yet. I've been wanting to see that show, but now I think I've got 8 or 9 episodes, and I think they're close to the season finale, so I may just wait until it's completely done and then just watch it all in one fell swoop. Or, hey, who knows, maybe when I'm done recording this, I'll actually start watching a couple of episodes, because I've heard really good things about it. The concept's really interesting to me. I know it's based off, I want to say it's based off a movie like back in the 70s, so I'm kind of curious where, how it goes, and I definitely want to watch that. I mentioned Stranger Things, so speaking of Netflix, Luke Cage, I watched the first episode, have not watched the other, I guess, 12, but I probably will rewatch episode 1, and I want to watch all of those episodes. Now, that won't affect my DVR at all, but it's one of those things. I really want to watch that, especially before the Defenders come out, or the next season of, any of those, whether it be Jessica Jones, or who knows if they're going to do another season of Luke Cage. I've heard good stuff about Luke Cage. I mean, it broke Netflix, so I'm definitely going to try to watch it. Now, the next ones are all kind of tied together as far as goals go. I want to build the brand, or build my brand, and my brand within the podcasting community, as well as continue to build a brand within the YouTube community. And I've reached out to some people, and I'll continue to reach out. And if anyone has some good, solid advice for me as far as how to build the brand, I would welcome any tips anyone's got. I do know for me that might mean like traveling a little bit more, not so much relying on just having reality wrestling stars on my show, although I plan on having some definitely some people with reality wrestling on the show and with future episodes. But I want to reach out to those that aren't necessarily part of reality wrestling. Just try to get more interviews, try to travel more, so I can see other companies and see other wrestlers that I haven't had a chance to see, and maybe get to sit down with them and have them on my show. Because I think my plan for 2017, I mentioned this in my last video, or my last episode, was the idea of splitting up the show to a degree. I'm still kind of working out the final idea of that. I've got, again, about a month to really kind of figure out where I want to go with it. But what I'm thinking is that for YouTube, it's going to be more visual stuff, and shorter videos. I want to see if doing shorter videos actually helps with the amount of views that I get, maybe the amount of subscribers that I get, and also not having duplicative work that I have now. Again, you know, this last year's kind of been a way of trying to become consistent with releasing episodes and releasing them in a timely manner, and you know, just being consistent with the schedule and whatnot. And I feel like I've accomplished that for the most part. So now the next step is really kind of split it apart, where the video will be, you know, shorter and you know, more visually appealing, and then the long form stuff will become the podcast. Again, it'll be a work in progress. I'm not going to say that, hey, I won't put out long form content in video format. It'll just really depend. I would like to probably try to stick to something where it's shorter videos and then the long form stuff on podcast, so that, you know, people that are fans of both have an alternative with both. You know, they see videos for the sake of watching videos, but they'll be shorter, and then again they can go over to the podcast and subscribe there and get the content there. So but yeah, I think 2017 I want to build that brand a little bit more and kind of see where it can go. And again, I'm open to suggestions, ideas, any ideas anybody has. But you know, I've been consistent, so this is the next step, and hopefully this will be a good step in the right direction. And realistically, I want to be more consistent. That comes with like motivation. Motivation is a tricky thing for me. I know 2015 wasn't. Motivation was kind of at an all-time low, and really messed with me, you know, from a mental standpoint, from an emotional standpoint, from a physical standpoint. Nothing's worse than going to a gym and trying to lift weights and tweaking muscles or tweaking joints, and then feeling like you're taking one step forward and like 15 steps back, because, you know, you're back on the shelf, and it's just weighs on you whether you want it to or don't. So I really want to be more consistent from a motivational standpoint. Now, my motivation improved. I was, you know, my motivation was there for the most part throughout 2016, but it was still, at times, my motivation could dip, and it just, I would become overwhelmed with the dip. So I really want to focus on hopefully keeping it at an even keel, and, you know, peaking at certain points, but not dipping too low. But I definitely want to be more consistent with my motivation. Hopefully that will lead to being consistent with my diet. My diet's not the greatest. Sometimes it's good. Sometimes I'm great at meal prep. Sometimes I'm great at sticking to it. You know, there are apps out there that I can use, that I'm aware of, and I was real consistent with it for a time being. And then the motivation slipped, and I became kind of non-consistent with it. And of course, the holidays, and just the fact that I like food that's not necessarily always the greatest for you, but it tastes great. So, but my diet, I want it to be better, because I do know you can't outwork a bad diet. So I want my diet to be consistently better, you know, and eating healthier and treating it as fuel, and at the same time not completely taking all things away. You know, there's a time and place for that stuff, but at the same time being more consistent with it, being more aware of what I put into my body, and how that affects me. I definitely want to be more consistent with training. I had some good moments with training over the course of the year, but you know, it would come and go. Again, my motivation would dip, and there went working out or training, as far as like weight training and such. So, but I found a program that I like. I'm going to try to stick with that leading into the new year, and just be consistent with it, getting back into a gym type scenario as opposed to working out at home. That was really what I was doing over the course of of the past year, but that will definitely change. I've started to go to the gym a little bit more, utilizing the fitness center in my apartment complex, but going to the gym and just being a little more consistent with training, trying to get in weight training days at least 4 to 5 times a week, cardio days at least 3 to 4 times a week, and then yoga throughout. I want to be as consistent with yoga as I can. I use DDPY. That's my program of choice. I have the app. I would advise anyone who's even considering it or on the fence about it to try to get it. I subscribed for a year. It was roughly about $110 for the year. I thought it was a worthwhile investment, and realistically I didn't use the app to its fullest potential. I mean, there's plenty of things on there, so I want to get a little more get more use out of the actual app, as well as other apps that I've used, as far as whether it's the S Health that I have for Samsung, or there are other ones like Body Space, a few others. Probably as we get into 2017, I'll start to look at programs on those and utilizing the apps and utilizing the technology, but definitely being more consistent, and also probably get in the ring some over the course of the end of this year and leading into 2017. So yeah, overall, I have pretty firm idea of where I want to go moving forward. Hopefully I'm going to have some guests. I have a little more free time, at least this week coming up, so hopefully I can line up a couple of guests and try to line up some guests for future shots, so that I consistently have some guests for everyone, and start kind of playing with where the video content goes and where the podcast goes. But so yeah, I think that's it for right now. I hope everyone enjoyed their Thanksgiving. I hope everyone's enjoying their time off, got to see family and friends. I mean, hey, I really enjoyed my Thanksgiving because the Cowboys won. I've been a Cowboys fan for a long time, so I don't rub it into people. I'm a realistic fan, but I've been a fan even when they were 1-15. I was a fan. Been a fan all my life, so I'm not going to stop being a fan now. Yeah, I just try to be real positive, man. Try to have a real positive outlook. I might get into some of the stuff that kind of brings me down, maybe just because talking about it tends to help me out. But appreciate everybody who shows any form of support. I honestly, getting all the messages that I got for my birthday, man, it was so humbling and touching, and I was blown away by the amount of people that reached out to me on my birthday, and whether it be with a message or post to my wall, or a text message or a phone call. I mean, every interaction meant the world to me. I loved every anyone, even the happy birthday, even something that's simple, or just even the people that happy belated. I appreciate everyone who reached out to me on my birthday. It was definitely humbling and touching, as I mentioned, and yeah, it was just wow. It was really something to get so many people to contact me, and I'm real appreciative of that. To know that people are out there and they take the time. I'm really looking forward to what the future brings and what the future holds. I'm looking forward to future episodes here. Again, hopefully I'll have a guest next week. That is my plan, is to have a couple of guests moving forward over the, at least to end 2016 and then start out 2017 with a bang. But, again, it won't be all that. Maybe I'll still have episodes where it's just me talking about what I like, what I don't like, or certain events that are coming up, at least in 2017, that kind of we're all we're life altering, but I got some ideas, some plans for the future, and would love for you guys to be along for the ride and join me in this journey. I appreciate all those that do join me in the journey and share their journey with me. And yeah, just trying to be blessed. I feel blessed, and I appreciate all of you taking your time. As always, like to end these, stay cool, stay sexy, stay classy. But you're already all those if you just try to enjoy it, man, as I'm trying to enjoy it. I know it's easier said than done at times, but man, let's all try to come together, be together, because it's all us. That's all we got. It's all of us, all together. We got one planet, one life, as far as I can tell. I want to try to live it to the utmost and have as many people around me as humanly possible, because I don't like to be alone, and I like the company of others and whatnot. So, but you're already all those if you do this. If you definitely enjoy the journey. And until the next time, later.